So in this assignment, what you're doing is you're going to be taking two of your intervals from the previous assignment and using them as a basis for your design. So in this one you can see we're working with warm to cool, and this one we're working with the analogous harmony. So you have two warm to cools and two analogous. I would pick the one that you think demonstrates the most depth when you look at it. And then when you're creating the design, you're going to be working with just circles in this design. Really think about how you can work with this idea of depth. So for example, take a look at this particular example right here. Notice how the cool dark color, if you remember back from your reading, cool dark colors are going to recede, how it's been placed in the background, and so naturally the background is falling away from us. And then the warm, bright, saturated color, this red here, is placed on the elements that are floating on top. So we get this really lovely sense of depth, and our design is being supported by the color principles here. So we've got our topmost objects, even in terms of overlapping, this is our very top object, and then we move to a slightly more desaturated color from the palette, which is looking like it's going a little further in the distance, and this overlapping is really, so it's really going hand in hand with the color choices. Let's take a look at this other one. So in this one we've got the warmer green, the warmer, more saturated green. Now green is usually considered to be a cool color, but notice how there's a little bit of yellow in the green, and so it's actually appearing quite a bit warmer than the blue. And so what this artist did is they put the blue in the background, because blue is a cool color, it recedes, and putting the warmer, more saturated colors which pop out at the foreground, and then working just the same way with the most saturated version at the front and then overlapping, having that recede backwards. Let's take a look at the other example. In this one you can see that we've got the warm to cool low-key intervals chosen here, and we've got the warm color here, most saturated, the lightest. It's the one that's popping towards us. So when this design was created with the circles, this topmost shape is using the color that naturally wants to come forward, and then it builds backwards so that the darkest, deepest, coolest color is at the back. Same thing with this one. Even though this is all cool colors, we know that value can create depth, and the lighter the value is, the more it pops forward. So this part of the scale has been placed at the foreground, the top part of the design, and then we have this lovely movement backwards as we go through the scale to this dark blue background which recedes. So when you create your design, you can kind of create it pretty randomly at the beginning, work on your composition with the circles. Then you could even do it in grayscale. Then take your interval and start putting those colors in. Just make sure you only use the interval colors, and think about, before you start, which is the color that comes forward, which is the one that recedes the most, and then build your design based upon that.